So what is a counter deed? A lawful sworn declaration used to rebut or correct a presumption. We know that the government works off presumptions, right? They presume you to be a United States citizen. They presume you to be born in the United States. They make presumptions. And they did that by way of the 14th Amendment, born or naturalized into the United States. Restores the lawful record from which government derives. Presumption of consent, example documents, birth certificate, marriage license, passport, name in all caps. And
I might skip a few sections, try to cover what applies to most people. The application one requirements of paragraphs A, B of this section. So they're telling you that the employee is over again. Form SS5 or statement, an explanation of why he has not secured from the employee the information referred. In paragraph B14 of this section, it shall insert the word employer. These are instructions as part of his signature. Now let's skip all the way down.
all right, so thanks for tuning in to the National or anybody that got so now why do you need to do this? Why? Because now you're separating everything from them. When every document you're submitting is your document that you created. Now, what do you need to do in order to make this a what do you call a document that they will accept? Let me show you. You share the screen again. Sharing. Where's my okay? All right. Let me close this out real quick and get what I need up. All right. Share. Oh, y'all should be able to see that, right? Y'all see the Department of State. Somebody give me a confirmation that they can see that properly.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. In this document has all of the, this is a copy of when I got my passport. This is the front page. Anybody that's authenticated their passport will have this as the first page with the grommet on it. So let me make this go bigger here. Can y'all see those laws down there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All of those laws on there is, they said, issue pursuant to these different codes. And if you look up the codes, like say, let's say 18 USC 1733, I think I have that pulled up already. Or did I close it out by? Let me type it in. 18 USC 17. I think that's what it was.
Should be 28 USC
28 USC. Yeah.
17.
Something was wrong. 28 USC 17. Government records and papers. Let's share that screen. It says books or records of account or minutes of proceedings of any department or agency of the United States shall be admissible to prove the act, transaction, occurrence as a memorandum of which the same were made or kept. Properly authenticated copies or transcripts of any books, records, papers, or documents of any department or agency of the United States shall be admitted in evidence equally with the originals thereof. This section does not apply to cases, actions, proceedings of which the federal rules of evidence apply. So any government document that is authenticated is considered as the original, right? That's one of the laws on there. So another law is, let's see another one. 8 USC 1104. Let's look at that. 8 USC 1104. Powers and duties of the secretary. So this is the law for the passport, authenticating your passport or administering passports. And then there's, let's see, what's another one? 5 USC. Trying to find a good one. Well, basically, all of these laws talk about what's evidence. Once you authenticate something, it is considered a fact, and you could use it as evidence of anything. So you're going to create your documents, which I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you the documents. Let me share this. First, I'm going to show you the birth certificate document template. That's the one I'm going to show you now. Let's share that. Pages. This is the birth certificate template, right? So I always say on my documents, I put notarized statement and notice of birth according to religious rites. This is to certify the birth of, and then you put the name of the baby, the date of birth. Pretty much this has everything that the passport requires to prove something. The time, it didn't say you needed the time, but you wanted to have that as a time on there. The sex of the baby, female, male. We're not going to get into all of them, the other whatever nonsense they got going on out there. Place of birth, and that would be whether it be at your home or wherever you decide to have a child, or wherever you were born, you can say that, right? So if you already, you're an adult like myself, I'm in my 50s and I want to create something.
Keep it locked on Hindsight Radio.
So I'm going over this a lot. Most of y'all have seen me go over this, right? Have you? Never? Never? Oh, you're a newbie. Huh? You just seen the videos. Okay. All right. This is the oath you would take when you go get your passport. This is what they make you swear to. And it says, I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not performed any of the acts listed under acts and condition on page 4 of the instructions of this application unless an explanatory statement is attached. So if you don't supply an explanatory statement, it's going to assume that you are a citizen or a non-citizen national of the United States. This is basically what this is saying to you. But when they give you the oath at the post office, which part do they read? Y'all remember when y'all took, who got a passport in here?
I have none.
Right? They made you give an oath.
Yeah.
Right? Put your hand up. Right?
Yeah.
Which part did they read? Did they ever read this part? This is all the whole oath.
They didn't read that part right
They
there.
read this part.
They read that.
The statements made on this application are true and correct. That's all they asked you. They never read this to you, this first part, which is the most important part. So now they switched up the application. They took out the part of the acts and conditions. Because they said go to page 4. I have not performed any acts listed on the acts of condition on page 4 of the instruction of this application. So let's go to page 4. This page 4 is back here somewhere. Here's acts and conditions. This is the new one. And it says, if any of the below mentioned acts and conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, a supplementary explanatory statement under oath of affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. I changed the way I did. Y'all, whoever's been with me before and did it the other way, why did I change it and change it into an oath, like an affidavit form, a real affidavit form?
They took out the, used to be able to cross out the line.
No, that's not why I did it. It's because this says it need to be made under oath of affirmation by the applicant. Should be attached. So I put it in the affidavit form because now you're truly keeping to what the instructions of this application. Although the first word worked very well, this word works even better because now I'm truly, it says made under oath and affirmation. So now I created an affidavit in affidavit form, and then I just copy and paste it and put this in there, part of it. Why would you put this part in there? Why wouldn't you put it, why would you put that there? Right. He said it. Say it again.
Don't put it, you have done it.
Right. You're guilty. Because it's saying, I have not been convicted of any of these things. I read this already in the affidavit. So all I did was copy and paste that and put it into the affidavit. Because they said, if I have
Locked on Hindsight
done
Radio.
that, which I have. I don't have none of these problems. So I'm Hey, peace. What's up? What's up? It's Tuesday, June the 10th. 10 days already into June. Dang. Like, wow. This weekend coming up. I got a big day for my daughter. She's graduating on Saturday. So, you can imagine what's going on. Family coming into town. Just preparing for that. 18 years. When I started this show 10 years ago, she was only 8 years old. I'm becoming a veteran now. I'm old school in this information. Like when I look at the internet and I see people teaching this stuff, and a lot of people coming in that's popular or getting popular are teaching old, unproven methods. But we got social media now that sensationalizes everything. And people are falling for it. They're falling for the games. But I'm here. Have no fear. Hakeem is here to. If you get yourself caught up in the jam, I'm the man for you. I can fix it. I can fix it. I'm coming out with a new program. I'm gonna put it up. Y'all see. I'm gonna advertise it. You guys got court cases. Y'all got these things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not teaching, promoting any law. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't have nothing to do with law as they define it. because it's full of deception. But I'm gonna put you on a program where you could get, send me your stuff. I'll do your stuff for you. Help you get out of your problems. This is a church. Hang on a second. Give me 1 second. All right, where's my? This is a church, and in this church we help people deal with outsiders that try to violate your divinely given rights. Somebody came and put a thumbs down. The haters, they will hate. They love it. You come in here just to mess with my numbers. You ain't got nothing else to do but show hate. It's all right. It's your right. You want to put a thumbs down. It's all right. It doesn't change the fact that I'm the best out there. One of the best. I don't know. I really don't know a whole lot of people that I could say. I know people have some good information, some good things, but like all around seasoned, filtering out all of the junk. Ain't too many out there. Do y'all got any recommendations that people I can go and seek counsel from that could help me with information? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. And I'm not talking about popularity. Because popularity doesn't mean right. There's a lot of things that's popular that ain't right. I think the title of the show is called Location of Debtor, right? That's UCC. We're going to read that today. 9-307. We're going to read that. Because when you read that, I'm gonna break this thing down to you because I've read this over and over, but for some reason I've been drawn to listen to this, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna pull up one of my old shows. Let y'all listen to something. I gotta first find out. I should have had it queued up. Let's see. Oh. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Oh, it's kind of already where I needed to be, I think. Let's see.
Time. I grew up.
Let's go back. I think it was around this year mark. Let's see.
The Dutch Republic, 27%. Now, follow me very closely. The free trade spirit of time was augmented by the development of modern, effective stock market in the Low Countries.
Yeah, that's
Now,
it.
do know that
I know that's kind of low. I'm
is a
trying to figure out how to
certificated
make that
security,
louder.
meaning that it's traded on the stock market, right?
Hang on.
The Netherlands has the oldest stock exchange in the world, founded in 1602 by who else? The Dutch East India Company. While Rotterdam has the oldest bourse on the Netherlands, the Dutch East India Company Exchange went public in 6 different cities. Later, a court ruled that the company had to reside legally in a single city.
Hey, Were y'all able to hear that pretty good? Let me see if y'all could have heard me. Let me know if y'all could that what I was playing. Could y'all hear that? Okay, good. All right, let me cue it up to where it need to be.
Cursor. Okay. Now,
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does.
1795. And it was the. All right. Because when you're reading the first one, it has United Netherlands, and then it says Dutch Republic of Seven United Netherlands or Dutch Republic, 1581, 1795, a precursor state of the Netherlands. What that's saying, it was the Dutch Republic before the Netherlands. It was a precursor. Okay. Now you go down to economy. It says during the Dutch Golden Age, in the late 16th and 17th centuries, the Dutch Republic dominated world trade. What they're telling you is they dominated world trade during this time. Now, you look at the years, you know that was the Moors, right? Conquering a vast colonial empire and operating the largest fleet of merchantmen of any nation. The county of Holland was the wealthiest and most urbanized region in the world. In 1650, the urban population of the Dutch Republic as a percentage of total population was 31.7%, while that of the Spanish Netherlands was 20.8%, of Portugal 16.6%, and of Italy 14%. In 1675, the urban population density of Holland alone was 61%. That of the rest of the Dutch Republic, 27%. Now, follow me very closely. The free trade spirit of time was augmented by the development of modern, effective stock market in the Low Countries. Now, I do know that the birth certificate is a certificated security, meaning that it's traded on the stock market, right? The Netherlands has the oldest stock exchange in the world, founded in 1602 by who else? The Dutch East India Company. While Rotterdam had the oldest bourse on the Netherlands, the Dutch East India Company exchange went public in 6 different cities. Later, a court ruled that the company had to reside legally in a single city. So Amsterdam is recognized as the oldest such institutions based on modern trading principles. While the banking system evolved in Low Countries, it was quickly incorporated by the well-connected English, stimulating English economic output. 1590, 1712, we know the Barbary slave trade was during that time, right? Also possessed one of the strongest and fastest navies in the world, allowing for their very conquest, including breaking the Portuguese sphere of influence on the Indian Ocean and in the Orient, as well as lucrative slave trade from Africa and the Pacific. After reading this, what they're talking about sounds credible, and I'll tell you why. If that's the oldest stock exchange that your ancestors created, and they were trading these things, you know, one of the first stocks was what? Slave. Or commodities, I guess you could say commodities. The slave would be considered commodities, but stock, oldest stock market. So if we're trying to capture that straw man properly, you couldn't take up China to get it, to prove that you're the owner. And once you apostille it, it becomes an international document. So you have to go to the country where they're holding that stock.
conclusively. I still got more to look at, but looking at this, what he's saying is making sense to me. Listen, we can't just because Akeem's saying it, and then if someone comes to disagree with Akeem, you discredit what that person says because you like me and you trust my information, but I can be wrong. I'm not. Things can change. I can change my mind. The main reason why I believed in authentication because it was taught to me, and I believed in that person. Doesn't mean I don't believe in them, but I also know that if you're doing real research, you're turning over every rock and looking at it to see what's under it. And sometimes you might not find what you're looking for under all the rocks, but then there comes that one rock. Then you find what you. So I want y'all to be like me. Turn over every rock. Vet what I say. And while you're vetting what I say, you're going to go see some things that I may have missed. And that's how we build as a people. It's not about who brought the information and because you like them. It's about you doing your due diligence and studying the information for yourself and gaining an understanding. And then coming back and saying, oh, this is what I found. But see, the problem people are doing, I spend time arguing with people about what this thing.
Yeah. So that was an old show back in I want to say 2019, where I was talking about authentication, apostille, things like, oh, first, let me give shouts out to Wisdom, Sophia for this show that, it can bring me the words and channel the words that I need to say. So be it. And shouts out to my ancestors. I cannot forget my ancestors. They have done a lot for me. They've got me 10 years in to this information. And I've been dropping jewels on TikTok. I need to go follow me on TikTok because I'm gonna be dropping some jewels. So that was the show about, when I first came into this information, it was this thing, don't apostille. Do authentication because there's a non-Hague countries, right? But then when I looked at the definition of an apostille, and if you're trying to locate that debtor where that debtor really resides, apostille is necessary in some cases, right? Because when you apostille, they ask you, what country are you going to? What are you going to use this at? See, they got us, oh, we need passports. We got to get this, that, and the other. And I remember traveling with people who only travel with birth certificates domestically. They never went overseas. Then I met someone who ended up getting trapped, or no, I wouldn't say trapped, but they ended up getting stuck in Mexico. Right? Y'all like my smoking it up? Yeah, look at that. Smoke. Keep it going. Ended up getting stuck in Mexico and they had their birth certificate and they were still able to come back. They went through some changes. So let me throw a scenario out to you. The on the surface, when they teach you stuff on the surface. And I'm gonna have to give shouts out to someone who brought this to my attention. I haven't got permission to make them known, but if they're listening, I want them to know they got the credit for what I'm about to say. Because when he first said it to me, I had to think about this. Like, I travel with my birth certificate. And I know people have done it. I know people went to Hawaii, all kind of places with a birth certificate. Oh, even with this real ID stuff. But let me qualify what I'm about to say first. Let me see. I'm supposed to be talking about location. Listen, thank you, Sophia. Let me qualify what I'm about to say first before I give y'all better get a pen. Get a pen and share the show if y'all want to. If they don't get it, they don't get it. They just have to go and watch the replay. Yeah, you're right. Indie Circle, that was some refreshing information. Because dude, I pull out all my old shows. I start listening, and I've been looking for that show. I remember when I did it. It was right after, it was 2019, like March, right after my disconnection from the other people that was part of Hindsight. And I did that show. But that show is coming full circle right now. That show said, yo, Akeem, you had it right there. That's it. But then when someone said to me last week, I don't need no passport. I travel with my authenticated copies of the birth certificate. And I was like, interesting. And I know I've seen that before. So let me see how I want to put it. How do I? So you're getting stuff authenticated. They always asking you, what country is it for? But when you read up on authentication, apostille, however you want to pronounce that, they say, well, you need it for, because the country might want to see an apostille or a authenticated copy of your transcripts from college, and they want an authenticated copy of your birth certificates. They wanted everything authenticated for that country. So now, if I'm authenticating specifically for a country, if I'm doing that, and that the only way it shows that that document is authenticated for that specific country. I'm being talked to while I'm talking. I'm listening, and I'm trying to tell y'all this. So bear with me. It's been right in our face the whole time, and we just been looking at it. It's like what happened to me in the beginning. When I first got into this information, I was looking at things through the lens of someone else's eyes, or what they said to me that it should be, and I never looked anywhere else. But it was in our face. So let me stay. Let me tell y'all. You don't really need a passport to go from country to country because it's been in our face. All you needed was an authenticated copy of your birth certificate or authenticated document of a county deed that you create that shows the origin and where you from. I'm not going to go into the county deed part. That rabbit hole. It's not even. It's that right there is a show change. It's just a game changer. But I'm just going to stick on what was being taught for as long as I've been in the information, even before that. You don't need to get a passport to go out of the country. That document. Because if I'm authenticating it for China, then that specific authentication qualifies me to travel to China. Y'all listening? Are y'all listening? because it's for China. And if I give a notice of arrival, and I've talked about that in other shows, and Sophia said, don't even tell y'all what that's all about. Well, I'll say this. I can tell you this. Before I travel and I'm going someplace, I need a place to stay, right? I go and I make arrangements. I make hotel plans or where I'm going to stay. Hey, I'm coming. This is the time I'm coming, blah, 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 blah. That's as far as I'm going to say. But I know with some people, some people going to say to me, but oh, you need a picture. You need this. You need that. I know that. I know the answer to that, but I ain't going to tell y'all here. All you ever needed was an authenticated copy of the record to show the land you from. That's it. You didn't need the other book. When you got the book, when you got the passport book, it's like this. I set up a business. I incorporated an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, right? I incorporated. What do I do when I do that? I incorporate my business that I created, my person. That's what I've been talking on TikTok, what a person is. I take my person and subject it, make it part of the jurisdiction of the United States. Why is it the jurisdiction of the United States? Because they wrote code, statutes for corporations. So if I create a corporation under those guidelines, that means that I agree to be bound by those codes and statutes that support you creating that business. So isn't there codes and statutes for the passport? So when I get that book, I agree to be bound by the rules and regs of that book. I hope y'all listen to all you child support people and IRS debt people. This is why you can't get out of the country, because when you signed up for that, you signed up for all of the rules that went with it. Right? Yes, correcting your nationality on that book is necessary. But now that I know my spirit was disturbed over the last few weeks. I was like, you know what? And I almost didn't even do a show today. I didn't even know what the title is. And I said, I could talk about the location of that. We'll talk about that. But I'm getting deep on y'all. If I'm authenticating your birth certificate, they don't care about no passport in those countries. They want to see that if you're going to be transacting business, go do anything. I need an authenticated copy of that, your birth certificate. That's what they want. That's what they want. It ain't just about high school college transcripts and all this other stuff. It's about seeing where you from so that you can travel there. And now if I'm traveling like that, then I'm not subject to the other rules that attach to a passport. So I don't have to worry about some list. But the issue is We've been so propagandized that, oh, this is what I gotta have. You have the news. The news is telling y'all what to have. They're telling you. You're not reading rules. When they authenticate these things and you say what country, the Secretary of State is entering that into a database that document is specifically authenticated for that specific country. And I know for years, do Jamaica, Taiwan, so you can get the authentication. So all of those authentications that you've done for those specific documents are only good for those countries for you to travel to. Because they ask you, what country is it for? Oh, it's gonna. Oh, don't we were taught it's only differences because it's gonna give you the apostille or it's gonna give you the authentication. But they're entering that into a system to show you, oh, this person is gonna produce a document, a traveling document that shows you where they're from. We got it. And they're gonna check Department of State's website. Okay, yeah, this is it. And what do you think the serial numbers are on there for? What do you think they're there for? What do you think this number is up there for? That number that's at the top. What's this there for? Huh? And this is an authenticated copy of my passport application, I believe. Yeah. And this is the birth certificate. There's numbers up there. This one's a little washed away. There's numbers. Those are recorded, bro. Those are recorded, brothers and sisters. That's recorded. And that number, just like, how many numbers is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 digits. Coincidentally, isn't that social numbers? Now, I always just said those are 9 digits, right? The passport card is 9 digits or 9 characters. One of them is a letter, right? I don't have my passport, but I know that the passport is about 9 digits too. So basically, all I needed all the time was this. What does it say on there? What does it say? What does it say? It says, comes the United States of America, the real republic. Department of State, to all to whom these present shall come greetings. I certify that the document hereunto annexed under the seal of the Secretary of State of New York, and that such seal is are entitled to full faith and credit. Then it's got a little star in it. For the contents of the annexed document, the department assumes no responsibility. This certificate is not valid if it is removed or altered in any way whatsoever. It's got the full faith and credit. This is evidence under seal. Now, this is just their stuff. This is their stuff, evidence under seal. Passport, evidence under seal. That's evidence under seal. Come on. It was in our face the whole time. We didn't even pay attention to it. It was there. Because they want to know the specific place. Because that means if I need it for that country, that means I'm traveling there. And remember, before we had passport book, what was the thing you traveled with? A birth certificate. They didn't make you get, you was not, a passport didn't become a requirement until after 9/11. You was able to go anywhere in the world with a birth certificate. And guess what? Those countries didn't change their rules to let you in with a passport. The United States, the debtor did. Because it was talking to all of its sub-debtors. That's who they want to keep track of, because you carrying around their Ensligas, their number. We got to keep track of them, so we're going to put them on the book. We got to keep track of them. That's why the passport application is written in a way that you default to being a United States citizen or U.S. national or national of the U.S., U.S. person, citizen of the United States. That's why it's defaulting that way. And that's why you have to have the book, or some people have to have that book, because that's what they have defaulted to identify with. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you. Hang on. Hang on. I haven't done this in a while, but time to go in. See. Oops. Hang on. All right. Little drip, drip. I don't have my glass, and I'm not going to go get it, so I'll just pour a little bit in it here. Then I'll take a little libations. Spray it out there. All right. Don't laugh. Whew. Yeah. Here we go. So Jason said Brazil asked for birth certificate apostille. Now, why did they ask for that, Jason? What was the reason why you needed it? What was the purpose? I know it wasn't because you were trying to go to school there. So let's go ahead while Jason is catching up to the broadcast, because I'm a little behind. Let's go to the location of the debtor. Let's go. All right. This is not what I wanted. I want to be able to scroll. Okay. So this is UCC code 9-307. So Jason said for residency. So he had a passport. Why wouldn't they take the passport? Why wouldn't they take his passport as proof so he can have residency. They needed it. That's proof you don't need that thing to travel with. That's the United States putting handcuffs on everybody. The other countries don't. They just bring me your authenticated this, and you good. Bring me that, and you're good. You're good. Then they said, bring me an authenticated copy of your passport application. Why? Because that thing don't mean nothing to them. They needed to see the land you was connected to. It don't. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the counter deed part and when you start making your own religious stuff and getting it all authenticated, because remember what that certificate says, full faith and credit. Full faith and credit. They have disillusioned us for years. Like, we have to have this. They won't let it because we ain't been thinking. So the location of the debtor, 9-307. I'm going to go through this. It says in this section, place of business means a place where a debtor conducts its affairs. Debtor's location, general rules. Except as otherwise provided in this section, the following rules determine a debtor's location. A debtor who is an individual is located at the individual's principal residence. A debtor that is an organization and has only one place of business is located at its place of business. A debtor that is an organization and has more than one place of business is located at its chief executive office. Yeah, this code is talking about one entity and one entity only. But of course, they got to convolute you into, because it said chief executive office. Limitations of applicability of subsection B. So it's saying there's a limit here. Boom. Subsection B applies only if a debtor's residence, place of business, or chief executive office, as applicable, is located in a jurisdiction whose law generally requires information concerning the existence of non-possessory security interests to be made generally available in a filing, recording, or registration system as a condition of result of a securities interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respects to the collateral. So let's look up what a non-possessory security interest is. Non-possessory. What are they talking about? This is my dictionary of finance and investment terms. So let's see if it's in there. I've never looked. This is all on the fly. Not sure if it's gonna be in there. It's not. Let me see. Let me just make sure. Non-possessory. Non-possessory. Nope. It's not there. Not in the investment terms. So let's do a general look for it. So that's a non-possessory security interest. So a non-possessory security interest is a legal claim or right that a lender, secured party, holds in borrower's debtor's property without taking physical possession of the property, secure repayment of a loan or performance of an obligation. In simple terms, the borrower keeps using or holding the property. The lender has a legal right to seize or sell the property only if the borrower defaults. So that's like a car loan, right? But it's also compared to something else that we have. A birth certificate is what? A security, a certificated security. So they don't, you have possession of it, but the United States have a non-possessory security interest in it. Okay? Contrast with possessory security interest. In a possessory interest, the lender physically holds the collateral. Pawning jewelry, pawnbroker, legal foundation. In the U.S., non-possessory security interests are governed by Article 9 of the UCC Code, which I'm reading. So there you go. See if we can get further explanation of this. So all examples of this is order loans, mortgages, deed of trust. There you go. There it is. That's the meaning. Available in filing, recording, or registration system as a condition or result of the security interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respect to the collateral. So it says concerning a existence of a non-possessory security interest to be made generally available in a filing. With the mortgages, what do they file that, right? Recording what? They even do it on the UCC with the birth certificate. It's filed where? Down at the county. Or registration, registered in a registration system. There you go. Now, if subsection B does not apply, the debtor is located in the District of Columbia. Interesting. If none of these apply, that means the debtor is located in the District of Columbia. What's in the District of Columbia? We all know what's there. Isn't that interesting? We're talking about debts, but it says if none of those things apply, the debtor is located in the District of Columbia. So they're talking about none other than the Social Security number. Because there's no real filing of when you apply to get that number. There's no liens against them when you first get it. They have a security interest in it. And it says the debtor is located. So where do you get the social from? The District of Columbia. Social Security Administration. A person that ceases to exist. Oh, hang on. It's not a person that ceases to exist, have a residence, or have a place of business continues to be located in the jurisdiction specified by subsections B and C. A person that ceases to exist, have a residence, or have a place of business and continues to be located in B or C. B and C, specified in sections B and C. So what happens when a person, where do you got to go to get those benefits after someone passes? A registered organization that is organized under the law of a state is located in that state. See how ambiguous they being? Let's see. When you pick, let's see if we can, what does state mean? See, they got all this nonsense. They don't really, you don't really get a straight answer out of them. But I'm going to read it. Not today, but I'm going to read that. Because that's not the point I'm making today. Except as otherwise provided in subsection I, a registered organization that is organized under the law of the United States in a branch or agency of a bank that is not organized under the law of the United States or a state are located in the state that the law of the United States designates. If the law designates a state of location in the state that the registered organization, branch, or agency designate, if the law of the United States authorizes the registered organization, branch, or agency to designate a state of location, including by designated as main office, home office, or other comparable office, or in the it's always ending up in the District of Columbia if neither paragraph 1 nor paragraph 2 applies. I just read stuff that I would, as reading it, I was getting more and more confused. I know what it's saying. They gave you all that jargon to really tell you that everything's in the District of Columbia. Because guess what? They're not even being precise. State, what state? What do you mean by state? When I clicked on state, it was no real definition there. But it's all going to come to you. In the District of Columbia, if neither paragraph 1 nor paragraph 2 applies. G, continuation of location changes status of registered organization. Change of status of registered organization. A registered organization continues to be located in the jurisdiction. Oh, what happened? I did something. Go back. A registered organization continues to be located in the jurisdiction specified by subsection E or F, notwithstanding 1, the suspension, revocation, forfeiture, or lapse of the registered organization status as such in its jurisdiction of organization. They not even these. They the way they got this read. Let's see. Let's click this. What is it saying? I'm clicking them, and they're not really giving me the definitions of these things when I go to these pages. Let's see. Not there. So that means I'm gonna have to go through this with a fine tooth comb at another time. In dissolution, winding up or cancellation of the existence of the registered organization. H, location of the United States. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. Let's stop right there. When I read all of that stuff, all it kept talking about, if these don't apply, it's the District of Columbia, which really is saying that all debtors reside in the District of Columbia, and therefore the United States is a debtor. And it's the lien creditor. I mean, it's not they're the debtor, and take a wild guess who the lien creditor is. Because it's telling you that's where you need to go to make the debtor pay. On those certificated securities. This is what it's all telling you. That where the debtor is, he's over there, and everything's held in trust or an estate, well, a trust, to be distributed according to the bankruptcy rules. I'm gonna let y'all. I'm not gonna repeat what I just said. Just let y'all think about it. Because when you go into bankruptcy, they're always asking you for the social, the debtor, who is in partnership with the United States. And because that is an account number, there are funds that need to be distributed, but no one's filing the right claims. The claims are not being filed properly. There's a claims process. For the estate to be what is bankruptcy? Bankruptcy is liquidating of the estate assets when no one is properly liquidated. Because the codes and statutes that they have in there are written in such a way that no one can really figure it out. They leave words out. Like, for instance, in the chapter 11, they say husband and wife, right? But they don't say it They leave a specific, just like everything here was vague and left up to you to assume what they're talking about. And then when I click the thing to get the actual definition, it's not there. When I click registered organization to see what they mean by a registered organization, it's not there. It just took me to this. Then when I click debtor, nothing happens. Let's see, nothing. Debtor, nothing. Authenticated, nothing. And these are supposed to be the definitions to help me understand what the other words mean according to what they mean by those words in the UCC. Not by what the definition says. And I'm looking to see maybe I missed it. Doesn't look. Nope. So why do you have see they even have the word here, but they're not defining it. And when I click on it, nothing, nothing. And you can't tell me that's not by they made a mistake. They didn't. They don't want you to understand what these terms really mean. I know in the UCC, here's it said transmitting utility. And it says it means a primarily engaged in the business of operating railroad, subway, street railway, or trolley bus, transmitting communications electromagnetically, or by light, transmitting goods by pipeline, sewer, or transmitting or producing and transmitting electricity. So let's talk about that. You know, that brings a lot of controversy. Well, we're not. Wait a minute. Beneficiary. Let's see something. I'm gonna go back to that. But those words that I was really looking for are not here. I'm gonna go back to. Let's see what they say. Beneficiary. Beneficiary means a person who, under the terms of a letter of credit, is entitled to have its compliant presentation honored. The term includes a person to whom drawing rights have been transferred under a transferable letter of credit. Wow. I'm getting permission to say what I'm about to say. Should I say this? Yeah. Let's think about that term beneficiary. Let's read it very carefully, slowly. It says means a person. A person. Remember what the definition of a person is, right? At whose request or for whose account a letter of credit is issued. Y'all got a letter of credit from when you get born, they give you a letter of credit, and that's that social to be used for credit later on. So basically, the social is almost like a credit card because it helps you get credit cards. But on another level, on a different level, it's like a credit card. It's like a letter of credit that guarantees you credit. And they were teaching y'all the social was bad. It's not so bad if you know how to use it properly. See, how we're using it, when we use it in the function of a job, we're using it in the function of being the debtor. Why? Because when you go get a job, you're signing up. Remember what I said. When you sign up, register, whatever, you sign up to be bound by the code that regulates that particular entity. So when corporations hire people, they are bound by the IRS code to be what you call withholding agents. So when I go and give my social to the job, I'm saying that I am going to let you guys take money from me. I am no longer acting in the capacity of beneficiary and using it as a form of credit. I'm using it as a form of I owe you, which is taxpayer. But it says it here. Beneficiary means a person who, under the terms of a letter of credit, is entitled to have his compliant presentation honored. What do they keep asking you to present? That card, that number. The term includes a person who's drawing rights. Rights have been transferred under a transferable letter of credit. So what we do is we transfer our rights over to the United States, over to the state when we go fill out their little things. Oh, you're a U.S. citizen? Check, because that's the taxpayer. You are no longer the creditor. Or the number is no longer used as a creditor. Solely on the debtor side. Let's see, section 5. Yeah. I've never really discussed the UCC because there was so much misinformation going on around that. But now I'm here. This is another area of, I'm not going to say that. Oh, it's about to get fun now. I never really, when my mind is on focus, I spend a lot of time on correcting your status. I got y'all there. Y'all there. Now we need to crack this. But to tell you the truth, it's already cracked. I saw everything. I see it. When you understand person, you understand the beneficiary, creditor, and they call it secure party creditor, which is the wrong term in the first place. But confirmer means a nominated person who undertakes at the request or with the consent of the issuer to honor a presentation under the letter of credit issued by another. So that's another word, confirmer. It means a nominee. Who's the nominated person? When you apply for that card and they hand it to you, that becomes a nominated person who under at the request or with the consent of the issuer, because you have the consent of the issuer, who is the Social Security Administration, to honor a presentation under letter of credit issued by another. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop right there. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Y'all better pull out that UCC and start reading it. It was it just I had to let well, I wasn't really thinking of it like that, but I could see where the ancestors was not allowing me to really deal with the UCC till all the dust settles and everybody said what they had to say. Then I come in and trailblaze it. Because this is all, letter of credit. They'd like to talk about those negotiable interest men and didn't realize they was walking around with a letter of credit in their pocket. But y'all use it in the wrong way. They got you thinking credit. They got you thinking backwards on credit. Man, I think I said enough for tonight. I think I said enough. I'm going to have fun with this one. I'm going to have fun with this. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope you did. I hope you did. I hope you really enjoyed what I was reading. Somebody said if you think about it, the birth certificate has numbers, EIN comes from the district. All of those stuff come from the District of Columbia. I think the definition is found in UCC Article 2. Is it? But it's supposed to give it to me when I click it, and they ain't letting you go to it. I'm not going to deal with all that. I'm not going to go look it up. I'll look it up later. Or y'all can look it up. Okay. I think I did my job. And I wasn't even in. I was just going to read the location of debtor. And here it got me in Section 5-102, definition on the Uniform Commercial Code. Let's see. Uniform. You said 107. Is that what you said in the chat? Let's see. He said Section 1201. Okay, let's see if it's there. Section 1201. Article 1. Okay. Bill of lading. I deal with bill of ladings all the time. I deal with those all the time, and that's in the Uniform Commercial Code. Okay, let's see. Record remedy representation. It's not there. And here you got the definition of person right there. For business trust means an individual, trust, limited liability, association, joint venture, government, governmental subdivision, and so on and so forth. That's not there. Oh, let's read. You know what? Let me share the screen. I'm glad I came over because I'm gonna show y'all how they play games. You see how it says state means a state of the United States, the District of Columbia, the Puerto Rico, the United States Virgin Islands, or the territory or insular possession subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. So they're telling you they're not talking about the 50 states because they have to be precise what they're talking about. The state of the United States. The District of Columbia. So really, what they're saying, the state of the United States just means District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, United States Virgin Islands, and any territory, insular possession subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. They would say if it was really talking about the 50 states, they would say means the 50 states like they do in other codes. In the educational code, where they fund colleges, they say state means the 50 states. Here they make it, the states of the United States. They want to play with you. Where they really mean the state means the state of the United States, meaning these are what they're talking about. Only. Just so y'all know. Don't get confused by the trickery. All right? And there you have it. All right. Thanks for the likes, the shares, your attention this evening. Y'all got a real treat. Y'all really got some stuff to go listen to. Okay. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everybody. Y'all have a good night. I'm out. And because those courts are bound by corporate policy, aka codes and statutes. State operates under presumption of consent. These presumptions create corporate legal fictions. A county deed restores the living man woman status, ensures constitutional protections that attach to you.